Hi guys, Lianne here again with another episode of Seduce Me. So last time we met Malix, who came into our house, and our house was protected, and apparently our grandfather knew magic, so I hope we're gonna find out some more details about that. They were only staying until after they defeat Malix. That's right. They said they only stay until after they defeated Malik. After that, my life could go back to normal. Temporarily insanity, as Kay would say. The question was then, would I want them to leave? If my life went back to normal, then I have to care for the house all by myself, I thought it was going to say. All on my own. I get to focus on my life instead of being distracted by the boys. I'll have to. My life. Where was my life going anyway? I was under pressure from my parents, with only my friends and the boys to comfort me. Without the boys, I have no way to hide from my responsibilities. You just met them! Enough. Let's just sleep and deal with tomorrow when it comes. Defeating my sense of thought, I forced myself to sleep, unsure of what tomorrow had planned for me. Hopefully, whatever the future had for me, I would be ready for it.
I promise to be with you forever. You're so important to me.
What's the first one? Was that Naomi? And is this Suzu?
I swear I'll give my life
That's
to you.
James. Definitely.
Please, let me love
That's
you.
Eric.
I'll be by your side, always.
Sam.
I can't imagine living without you.
That's Matthew. Oh, he's so cute.
I want to be with you.
Oh, that's Damien.
I love you.
So who is that? Is that Andrew then? Yeah, because I think these are all the options. You can do Naomi, Suzu, James, Eric, Sam, Matthew, Damien, and then Andrew. Okay. I slowly opened my eyes, letting the voices of my dream echo in my head, and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up and looking at my clock. 7 a.m.? Why am I up so early? It's weekend, right? I like to sleep out, man. 10 o'clock is early for me in the weekends. 12 o'clock better. I fell back onto the bed and closed my eyes, trying to go back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive. I gave up and sat up, staring at the fireplace across my bed. A sigh escaped from between my lips before I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 a.m. in the morning? Oh, what to do? We can explore the house, work on homework, or make some coffee. I think we should explore the house. I decided it was a good idea to wander around the house. I never really explored it much as a child, so there were bound to be new surprises. Welp, come on, feet. Let's go on an adventure. I stood as I exited my room, hoping that the boys were still asleep. I began to wander the halls on my end. I began to wander the halls on my end of the house, opening each door to find what room each door led to. You don't know which door led where. Oh, you only are here a couple days, so that's not strange. Quickly, I found an old office, a desk and a chair set by the far side as a large bookshelf of documents and memorabilia, down in nooks and crannies. There were a couple of pictures of me growing up peeking from the shelves as I walked further into the room. I don't believe I've been in here before. I tried to recall memories of ever seeing this room, coming up with nothing as a result. This room was new to me. Did I want to disturb the furniture? I'm curious. I gently opened the shelves and any drawers I saw in the room. In a couple of them were books and even sewing kits. I assumed they were used for my grandfather's toys, so I left them alone. One drawer, however, was locked, no matter how many times I pulled. Come on, open! Nothing. It would not budge. The drawer beside it, though, did, revealing a laptop. Why is there a laptop in a drawer? Why wouldn't there be a laptop in a drawer? He just puts his things away. I lifted it from the drawer and carried it over the desk and the chair, opening it. It was a high-tech laptop with a retina scanner as a pass lock. I was not sure whether or not to try to unlock it or not. Let's try. I decided to try. I turned on the computer and leaned my face near the scanner, lining the camera up with my eyes. To my surprise, I heard a ping coming from the computer before the screen opened to a desktop. Look at that. On the desktop were documents and folders, labeled with different aspects of the Anderson company, taxes, profits, bylaws, products. The list went on and on. If I really did want to become the CEO of Anderson Toys Company, I had everything about it at my fingertips. That would sure be impressed. One icon, however, stood out from the rest. Forago? I double-clicked the icon, but no window came up. Instead, I heard a large click from the drawer that was locked. What the? I slowly left my seat and walked over to the drawer, attempting to open it again. It slid open smoothly in the direction of my pulling hand, revealing two books. One was a plain, black journal with a tie to keep it closed. The other was bound in leather with cryptic symbols all over the cover. I looked at the journal and skimmed through it, seeing my grandfather's notes. They were all detailed explanation and opinion on his finding on demon magic. He really did know about magic. I sat down at the desk and read through the journal further, finding drawings and sketches of symbols and magic circles, each with their own different meanings and effects. It was all fascinating. There was even a page important spells to know. I read through them, trying to memorize them into my mind. I don't know what came over me, but I started to feel more energetic and more powerful simply reading my grandfather's notes. I was suddenly aware of the energy that surrounded my body and the power that was around the house. The more I read, the more powerful I became. However, my mind suddenly froze and I found myself walking back to the drawer, putting the book back and closing the drawer. The lock reset, and I snapped out of it. Huh? What? I shook my head and looked over at the drawer, realizing what I had done. I walked over to the desk to reopen the lock, but suddenly felt the need to stop. Something held me back, and I didn't want to pry any more than I already had. I was curious beyond belief, but I obeyed my thoughts for now. Eventually I would come back and look into it. I returned to bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag me under my covers to try sleep again. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. It was Sunday and nothing was happening today. Come on, eyes, back to sleep. I shut my eyes and tried to slow my breathing. I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet it felt like I had slept for much longer. Why is time going so slowly? I sighed, got changed into normal clothes, and went out to the main hall and sat on the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sound of battle caught my attention. Huh? I quickly went out to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yards were all 5 of the boys, practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle with the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks at him. Sam being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Oh, I'm gonna disturb them. Sorry, I'm gonna say, hey! Hey! All at once, the boys looked at me, frozen in their movements. I just stood at the doorway, staring at them after my outburst. James was the first to break away from the group, stepping towards me.
Good morning. We apologize if we woke you up.
No, it's fine. I've been awake for a while now. I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's quite all right. We needed to stop anyway. We don't want to overwork Sam.
Oh, come on, I can handle more than those pity punches.
Your mind seems grateful that we've stopped.
Oh, Damien. Damien's also fun to have around. If it's not your thoughts, then.
Shut up, Damien.
Oh crap, we should probably make some lunch. I'm sure you're starving.
I can handle lunch if you like. You all seem to be very busy training to beat Malix. I'll take care of it today.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, why not? I'm not useless. I know how to cook and do other stuff too.
Well, no, I wasn't insinuating.
What he means to say is that we'd be really grateful if you could make lunch today.
No problem. As I turned to the kitchen, the boys went back to training. They seemed very determined to get better and to become stronger. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I decided to make pizza, simple chicken and rice, or cold cut sandwiches. For lunch, I would go for the cold cut sandwiches. Here in the Netherlands, we eat bread for the afternoon, and then in the evening we eat something hot like simple chicken and rice or pizza. So I'm going for the cold cut sandwiches. Because why not? I assembled simple ham sandwiches for us all. After I poured some potato chips on the side of each sandwich, I felt satisfied. Who said lunch had to be cooked? No, we don't do that. I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried that dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particularly. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room and eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys focus on their training. No, we're gonna of course find one of the incubi. I quickly rushed back and grabbed a second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. Ah, James. Nice to see you, man. I found James in the library, sitting in one of the comfy leather seats reading a book. As I stepped in, James looked up at me before closing the book and standing.
Oh, hello.
Hi, James. I got some lunch for you.
That is very kind of you. Thank you.
James took his food and sat back down, placing the book he was reading on the table in front of him and setting the dish on his lap.
I'm sorry. I should have asked you first before exploring the house and finding this room.
What? No, you're fine. Remember, you live here too, so any room besides mine is free to be in.
Still, you're the master of the house. I should have asked.
It's fine, really. James nodded at me with an understanding smile before eating his food. I followed along and ate with him, taking the open chair beside him. We ate in silence, listening to the ambiance in the room. Soon, however, I began to feel a little restless. Don't worry about it or check out the book. Oh, I want to know what he's reading. Maybe Harry Potter. That would be fun. I put my foot down on the table and lifted the book to examine it. Love and Romance, a Study of Intimacy. James let out a small, nervous cough before he stopped eating and placed his foot on the table.
Demons and humans are very different when it comes to affairs of the heart. I merely wanted to try learning a little more while I had the chance. I found that while I was looking around the room and had only just begun reading.
Love is different to demons? How so? James smiled before crossing his legs, getting comfy for a small lecture he was about to give.
Love isn't just a human emotion, miss. Demons like us feel them too. In fact, incubi and succubi feel emotions the most because of our link to sexual energy. However, we don't really experience love. We know of lust and passion.
But passion drives love.
For humans, yes. For demons, it fuels our need to breed and increase the strength of our lineage as well as quells the hunger we have for sexual energy. It's very hard for us to develop feelings from passion, despite how easy it may logically seem.
You hungry for energy? I could tell it struck a nerve with James. As I mentioned the word hunger, his arm twitched, obviously wanting to do something other than remain on the armrest of his chair. He continued speaking regardless.
Sexual energy is our natural food source and is one of two ways to keep us alive. In the abyssal planes, there are many demons to feed off of who are always willing to give their energy up, so sexual hunger is never an issue. In the human world, however, we've come to realize that getting energy is a little more difficult.
Can't you just touch a human for their energy, like you all did with me?
That only gives us so much. A touch is merely a taste, while intimate sex is a banquet for us.
Okay. this, oh my god, I cannot even speak anymore. Escalated quickly. It really did make me stutter and things. I guess that was true. Humans weren't all about sex and were probably a lot more conservative than demons. At least, it would be hard to gain sexual energy from a human without doing something to them, or catching them in the right mood.
This is why we have a mind-altering ability to convince humans to give in to their desires. It's not 100% effective, but it gives us a better possibility to get what we need.
What if you don't feed on sexual energy? What's the other way to stay alive?
Food, typically. However, we're weak without actual sexual energy. Without sexual energy, we become less than human. We have no power nor moral consciousness. We basically start to become unfriendly.
That's not good. That's not good. I don't want that. That's not good, man. Okay. I'm gonna ask him. Are you hungry now? James didn't reply. He simply stared at me, unable to answer. However, I could tell that he was. He was clutching the armrest tightly, digging his fingers into the leather. I gently leaned close to him from my chair and rushed to brush my fingers over his hand. If you really need energy, I help a little. No sex, but enough to stop the hunger, okay? Once again, I was greeted with silence from James. He seemed very nervous and uncertain about what to do. Now that the approval was there, he was also frozen from my touch, softly and barely, twitching at the feel of my skin against his. I could feel his hand grip the armrest harder. A small feeling of boldness then ran through my body, forcing me to cover his hand completely with my own before leaning nose to nose with James in seriousness. Alter my mind if you're concerned about me. I really do want to help you out. Oh, the music is changing, man. We're going to the sexy stuff here. All of a sudden, I felt something in my mind snap and ooze into warm, fluffy feeling like I felt before with Sam and Eric. I will try to remain as serious as I can as I'm going to read to the sexy part. I will try. Don't blame me if I start laughing, please. I felt my body slightly heat up as James released his armrest and gently took my wrist. He gently pulled me out of my chair and into his lap, having me straddle him with my thighs. He stared deep into my eyes, his own glowing in hunger that I have never would expected to see from him.
I won't go overboard.
I hope you won't. Oh, right. It's gonna be a longer episode, but I don't want to cut it off right here, so... Okay. Before I knew it, his lips were pressed hard against mine, my head being pulled by his hand onto the back of my neck. I gently moved my hands to his shoulder and chest, melting in his lap and enjoying every feeling that ran through my body. I felt hot, desperate, and in need for more than just a kiss. One of my hands slid up his neck into his hair as James lowered his kisses to my neck. Oh, gently groaning against my skin. I couldn't help but let out a small whimper of pleasure before reaching up and covering my mouth. I didn't want the others to hear me, and I was positive neither did James. James lowered his free hand to my lower back, pulling my body against his. I felt my energy slowly draining, causing me to cuddle closer to James' hold on me. He lowered his hand to my waist, squeezing it tightly as his tongue ravaged my neck. Oh, you really have to be in the mood for this, man. And I'm not, sorry. Okay, I hope I don't get you out every time out of the moment, and we'll try to read on. Sorry, guys. His hand that was on the back of my neck, however, gently came around and held onto a tail of my bow. I sucked in a breath, but James didn't pull it to untie the bow. James lifted his lips from my neck and gently leaned his forehead to mine, rubbing nose to nose with me. He was gently breathing fast, softly red in the face, and as deep into the moment as I was.
I won't go any further if you don't want me to.
I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give any more. I think for the sake of the romance we're going to keep going, because that means that she likes him without the mind-altering spell. But it's gonna be hard for me, guys. I opened the opportunity, and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more, and I was going to let him keep going. He promised not to go far, but it wasn't far enough for me. I gently leaned in and kissed him, giving him silent approval to keep going. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and letting it follow his hand up from around my neck. He moved the ribbon to the empty seat before gently unbuttoning the top half of my blouse, going no lower than above my stomach. The desire in my body drove me to move the sleeves of my shirt down my arms, escaping from it, letting the shirt hang around my belly. As he began to ravage my neck and shoulders in hot kisses, I leaned my head back and let a pleasurable sigh escape my lips. I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry, I cannot. I cannot do that. The pull in my body from him drawing my energy had slowed immensely, almost completely stopping. However, James kept touching and kissing me regardless. He was full, but he was as hot as I was and kept loving on my skin and me. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was so lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it sinful, but I didn't care. I loved it, his touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at the moment, even as he lowered his kisses down my chest, just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about James drew me to him like a moth to a flame. I didn't know if it was his aura of superiority or his gentle smile, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy. Oh man, I'm dizzy already from all this reading. Seeing the ceiling start to spin almost wildly, I gripped onto James' shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sound. felt good. I didn't care that I blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be good. I now just wanted to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar sills underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. So we had our first very sexy moment. Hope I didn't ruin it for you guys by not getting myself into the moment. It's just so awkward. I know some people don't have problems with that, doing it for other people, but man, this is hard to stay not completely going to giggle and things like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this sexy part with James, and I will see you in the next episode of Seduce Me. Bye bye!